But since Phase 4 came out, I've just been nonstop grinding. Like I have two characters max level. I'm trying my best to cover like every single piece of content that I can do and just crank out the guides to help people. But there is a lot.
Oh yeah, like that's what I like about this phase a lot more than phase 3. Like for apart from the fact that I hated Sunken Temple, like why did they double the trash in Sunken Temple for the love of Christ? But the whole staggering the content, at least from like a content creation perspective, like the launching world bosses one week, launching then the bosses the Molten Core the next week, and so on and so forth, it gives so much more staying power. It doesn't feel like we've been in phase 4 for a month. It's been a month, man. Well, tomorrow is gonna be a
That's
month.
crazy. Yeah, that's actually nuts. Like, where did the time go? Like, I straight up have been playing like 8 hours a day, at least 8 to 16 hours, just nonstop grinding. I finally have hit that point where I could chill a little bit. Um, but yeah, I've just been cranking out the guides, really trying my best to it's sort of just the stuff I'm doing, right? Like I announced my guilds, we're gonna be gearing up and trying to go to Molten 3 and Heat 3 since we had such success with Heat 2 this past week. So like those FR guides, they come from me struggling to go do it myself and figure out what I can do. It's like, oh yeah, sure, I have thousands of gold. Do I pay 200 gold for an FR enchant? This doesn't seem right. Let's go see how to get this.
Same. Like I had like a similar discussion with my guild where they were like, "Oh, I don't think we're gonna go hit 3. It's too hard." And I just like did like, I was like so upset that I just made a video like showing them, bro. I did it for free. It's just like dungeon loot. It's not that hard. Like the leather set for fire resist is like nothing. Was it like 100 gold total for the whole thing?
Yeah, it's cheap to get that stuff made for sure. It's not BIS, You're sacrificing all those
Yeah.
DPS stats for FR when you could just get double core. Like you get your double core legs and gloves, and you get the enchant on the legs, and you can just go straight into Heat 2. It's insane.
Yeah, I mean, like hit two. If you get the two enchants, you're almost there. Well, three because of the cloak. But that was actually like a question I had for you. Do you think the balancing of hit three makes any sense? Like I saw, for example, no hit Jerome was kind of not a fan of it. Like their approach of instead of making the raid a lot harder, what they did was making the classes weaker because everybody's hitting like wet noodles right now. How do you feel about that?
So this was a little controversial. I do like the FR idea because if you played original classic or era realms, they had so many FR pieces, and really only the rag tanks needed to get FR. You didn't really need FR if you were anyone else. So I think it was a double win in the sense that it made a lot of people have to go out and get these enchants. It made a lot of people have to go out and get FR gear. It made a lot of people have to go out and do so many things that they normally wouldn't do. Like people are still a month later farming FR gear, farming our FR reputation. It gives you so much to do in the end game just for one raid. And Molten Core usually like only lasts a month, and then you're right into BWL, something like that. And it's just a lot of possibility with it. And I haven't really done Heat 3 yet, but the 226 set, it's based a lot around doing Heat 2 first and getting your tier 1. If you have your tier 1, it's really easy to hit that. You just swap like two pieces, you rock your 6 set, you have your enchants, and you can be there. So I really like it in the sense it is like you're progressing upward to the goal of Heat 3. It's not designed to just go in there week 1, and obviously you're going to hit like a wet noodle because you're using pure FR pieces to
Greens.
hit their 226 number. Yeah. So like that makes sense to me a lot.
Yeah, personally, like my one caveat on it, the one thing that I do not like about the fire resistance mechanic, which I agree, it gave the phase a lot more staying power. It made it interesting to start farming again. Like this is different. We never really. I mean, I am a tank, so we did do that, but everybody else never really did do this before. So that did mix it up a lot for the previous grind, which, in my opinion, the previous grind level 60 is like the best part of vanilla. But one
Oh,
minor.
absolutely.
Yeah, my one caveat with it is that I think tier 1 doesn't have enough fire res. I think they should have cranked that thing out a little more, like 20 more fire res at least. Like my view of it was that, well, yeah, you're gonna hit like a wet noodle now, but then you're gonna get your tier one, and you're gonna be like almost ready to go. You know, I think 64 fire res is not enough.
For Heat 2, to have the 60 that you need, you're saying?
No, I mean like 64 fire res is the total that you get from your entire tier one set, or
Oh, yeah,
61.
yeah, yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It's enough if you get the like hard new Thorium Brotherhood like FR pieces for sure. But yeah, I definitely get what you're saying with that. They could have made it more. I see no reason not to make it more. But I don't know. With the FR set I actually built today with my earlier video on my mage, like I was able to hit the 226 mark like exactly. So that tells me that they kind of thought out, were like, hey guys, these are like the best pieces to put on for these reasons, and building upon like the FR leg enchant, the FR head enchant, the Argent Dawn revered, and if you're, you know, a little bit of a maniac, exalted with them already for your 15 shoulders. Like, there's just a lot that I feel like I want to say, like, the devs were aware of this when they made these decisions.
I
And so
hope
it
so.
felt good to hit it. Yeah, it felt good to hit 226, like, on the dot. Be like, I need to get this. I'm not sacrificing too much. I'm using these pieces that were made to do this function.
Yeah, you know, I am still upset that my set ran out because I still have some tier 1 pieces and stuff. I am at 229 fire res and buffed, so I am like 1 point from the cap when I get my totem to tank Ragnaros. I'm still upset about it. Like the other day, I had like a 1% chance of not getting knocked up because I was like 5 res away from the cap or something like that. It happened twice in a row. I wanted to break my computer down. It was, oh my god.
Yeah, at least you're a tank, so you probably have some way to charge back down.
Oh yeah, thank god.
That's what I love about I play mage and feral tank, so like I can just blink right back down, or I can charge right back onto him. So it just works out for me really well. I'm like, oh, I got knocked. This sucks, but we can still go.
You can just like berserker stance on it and just intercept or feral charge or whatever. It's kind of tricky though because you gotta get outside of the minimum range, and Ragnaros has such a big freaking hitbox. But I mean, I guess it gives you more time to react. I don't know. You're gonna lose aggro for like one swing though, if you get knocked up, even if you charge back, and that sucks. Like sometimes people die and I
Yeah,
feel so bad, especially if it's the enhancement shaman, because if he dies, there's a good chance other people are gonna die.
yep, for sure. I feel
And
that.
he got sulfurous
I
man, so if I lose aggro, it's going straight to him.
Yeah, on Druid I just spam it now. Like the moment it's available, I'm just charging, so I'm just spamming that keybind. And the second I go airborne, I'm like, we'll get it as soon as we're ready, hopefully.
How do you feel about the druid tanking experience so far?
I love it. I think it feels very TBC-ish. Like that's where I did most of my druid tanking, and I just feel like I'm a TBC tank. We have all the tools. We have berserk. We have it hits multiple things with mangle. Like it just we get lacerate as well. The only thing I wish they would do is just give us wild strikes as a class thing. Like
Yeah,
just they get it when they're in cat and bear.
the
Make that thing
crits
100
suck.
yards. Yeah, because like having to pick between being a better tank with survival of the fittest and having to give your group wild strikes, because that's like the big thing for using a feral tank over that, is that you bring wild strikes to the group so the shaman can put down the agi totem. And it just feels really bad to have to choose between that, especially when you see them do something with Hunter where Heart of the Lion becomes integrated into their class, has a massive range. Like, just do that for Druid, especially since they can have Survival of the Fittest on their chest if they're feral.
Yeah, I mean, like the feral druid came out like I think it was one of the most awkward aside from the rogue tank, which I still think they got no idea what the heck they are gonna do with that thing. But like not giving us lacerate and mangle at the same time for 2 phases, that's what made me quit a druid in Nomeregan. Aside from like the bleeding damage thing, like it says on the tooltip, increases bleeding damage. You only got one bleeding ability and it's lacerate. What kind of idiot doesn't like just read the tooltip of your stuff? They were supposed to work together the whole time. It took him like 3 phases of like whining in the forums, bro.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't go tank until like into phase 3, going into phase 4 because of that. I was just a cat bot for my guild just leader of the pack because it was easy. You could either power shift or you could just be a leader of the pack bot. Everyone wants the leader of the pack bot, so you just get whatever you want. You just get to chill in there, don't have to sweat too hard.
That was basically me in phase 3. Nobody complained. My DPS was like, I didn't even show up in the meters. Nobody complained. Nobody noticed I was there, bro. They're like, do I have
Yeah.
Wind Fury?
Yeah,
Cool.
like, yeah, Wind Fury and 3% crit. That's all I need. Let me crank.
That I love support classes. I hope you see how they are going to like a process of like giving every class a little bit of every other class so they are like more equal. I really hope they leave in like a couple like hard utility classes that work without damage. Like I think if they made like the Shadow Priest do a bunch of damage, it would lose the appeal for a lot of people. Like the at least in TVC for me, like the Shadow Priest was always like something I would play to chill, you know? Something like no pressure on me whatsoever. Or Shaman, Resto Shaman. I really hope they don't get rid of that.
Yeah, it's always hard to. A lot of people in the forums really are like, we want Shadow Priest to crank, but then it
Yeah.
loses its like historic support status too. So it's like if they're cranking and supporting, then they're just insanely OP. I
Besides, if they crank,
actually,
that means more mana. It's 2% of their damage. So that's also
yeah,
gonna be
more
busted.
mana if they're cranking. Their healing is outrageous. They're in Molten
Ridiculous.
Core. We have I have three in my two raid teams. One group has two of them, so the casters get a Shadow Priest and the healers get them. And those Shadow Priests are just straight up like they're sometimes beating the actual healers in healing done just from Vampiric Touch and cranking on some of the fights.
The
It's
ad phase in Ragnaros, they are like so valuable. They do so much, and people don't see it. Okay, like if you don't play a healer, you don't even see it. But they are so valuable for like keeping the melee sap. Especially like I don't know how it's in the alliance, but like for us in the horde, I see that AoE healing is not that great right now. So they lift a bunch of the slack out of the raid. And the threat is also like a problem. I guess that's also could be like a huge issue if they started cranking.
yeah, Alliance have paladins. They're fine. Those things are
Yeah,
insanely broken right now.
twice
They
as
just
much
beacon
as
the light
shamans.
and they're good.
And
Yeah,
shamans are like the
yeah.
best one we have. Like they heal for twice as much as what the best second best class can heal. And the alliance is like, oh yeah, but shaman tanks were broken the whole phase. Yeah, I was with you. I was complaining. I was asking for them to delete shamans of the game, and I play horde. Okay, I don't know why we have to live through this again. Neither of them should have been a thing.
Every patch note video I do, everywhere I see, anytime I go out into the forums, it's just nerf shaman spam, and the Alliance hate them, and
I'm right there.
I just think it's hilarious. I'm like, well, you clearly haven't fought a paladin in the open world because you guys will just sit there, you'll bubble, land hands. I have to kill you three times just so I can do the same effect. I know shamans are a little nuttier, especially LE shamans in BRM. Definitely way more obnoxious, but paladins are pretty annoying to fight in any 1v1 situation as well.